17th of July, and it's the day before the really hot weather begins. Looks like they're going to have a nice time. It's a fair amount of wind, but it's coming from the south, which is a bit tricky for them. It just comes over the top of the clubhouse here. Quite an angled line today. I'm looking out, or we're looking out, along the line, so maybe up to about C. So they're going to A first, which is behind the island, round C, leaving it to starboard, so both to starboard, and then right down to the bottom of the lake, round G on its own, back up. So it's a triangular course. Right, so we're coming up for about a minute to the start. So nice little battle coming into A. Peter and Angie are going to get to A first. Looks like Alan and Marion have managed to just get on top of Rick and John, so they'll be in second. Yeah, so they've got a nice little puff coming into A. Rick and John just going round now. James and Helen just finding their way in now on port. A nice shot of basically the whole. James and Helen have caught up very well, so they got up to third. Rick and John have managed just to pull out a little bit of a lead. James and Helen have done very well and got past Alan and Marion. So you can see that they're staying to the north side because the wind's coming from the south, so there's going to be more wind over on that side of the lake. So Rick's just dropping back a little bit. James and Helen just about to take the lead. Oh no, I think Rick's just picked up that little puff as well, although Alan is coming through strongly. Yeah, Alan's just managed to come through the vortex between the two of them, so you get sort of a bit of a extra pressure just funneling through between those two sails, which he's taking advantage of, and just run out of it now. So Alan's now in the lead. It's all going to change. Alan managed to break clear. He's just got round A first, followed fairly closely by James and Helen. Peter's managed to take a short cut, so he's getting a lift into it. Rick and John rather have lost out there. They've got stuck. Three guys here having their own little battle. Simon and Tina have cut the corner again like Peter did, and they're making their way straight to A, although they're head to wind at the moment, and coming in on port there because Peter's really caught up James and Helen, and Alan has pulled out a little bit of a lead as well. Well, when the wind blows, it looks quite nice. Alan is keeping ahead. James and Helen have just got that lift up now, so they're doing really well. We've got Rick and John and Peter and Angie. Yeah. And then the last three are further back, but they're actually not too far back.
So it's so shifting and variable.
Yeah, because he went out this morning, didn't he?
Yeah. And it's doing that funny thing where at this end the wind's coming from this direction.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what's happening. Yeah. So they're.
And here it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, they're running from the bottom of the lake, and then beating at the top.
And then beating at the top. Yeah.
And it's really difficult where it changes over in the middle of the narrows.
Yeah.
But you have to be aware that that's going to happen. And sticking on the north side of the lake is probably the best thing to do. Yeah. Although some people came past K, as Rick's doing now, and then got a lift straight into A on port. Everybody had a bit of an issue going around A there. It's behind the trees, so it's difficult to see. But it's very fluky down there, so gusts and nothing coming from different directions. Well, the wind's dropped off a little bit here. Alan's actually got away. He got through the narrows quite nicely, but the three guys following him are all having a little private battle. I think Rick's got clear from the look of it, and yeah, he has. And Peter and Angie have also got through. James and Helen, who've lost out quite a lot. David and Maggie are not too bad, although they're just entering the bit where there's no wind. Simon and Tina and Gareth and Polly are in the wind at the minute, but they'll be going into that dead patch that John and Werner and the Heron are just in at the moment. I think they're just starting their the fourth lap, which is the final one. Alan is just behind the Enterprise, so he's making his way again in on port to A. He's got a little bit of a lead back to Rick and John in second, then James and Helen, and then Peter and Angie. But there are great big holes in the lake, and you can just see the difference. I mean, John and Rick and James and Helen are stationary, and Peter and Angie are coming up with a bit of a gust. So, and it's coming from the same direction. It's not even coming from behind them. It's just yeah, just where the wind is. You can see James and Helen just on at the edge of a dead patch, just going into it. John and Rick are coming out of it, and Peter and Angie are actually in the wind. Yeah, nothing you can do, because it's easy to see from up here, but on the lake it's so much more difficult. So we've got a typical Chipstead situation here, with Alan virtually beating down the lake and Gareth and Polly beating towards them up the lake. Looks like David feels he's got some weed. Then Rick's in second place, Peter and Angie in third, James and Helen in fourth. Guess we're going around to see as we look at them. Yeah, Alan's just coming up to finish his final fourth lap. He's just coming up to there in a moment, just looking back to see if he's going over the line. That's it, so he's finished. Rick and John are just here, so they have actually kept in contact quite nicely. Nice little lift there, just bringing them into the line. So Rick and John just finishing now. The others have stalled a little bit in the exit of the narrows here. Just coming to the wind line now. James and Helen looks like they're going to get there first. We have a fight coming up to the line. James and Helen going off on starboard to find wind. Peter and Angie on port trying to find wind. This is the second enterprise. The first one's finished on the right hand side there. It looks like Peter's actually got the wind first, but he's also in a better position because of the angle of the line as well. So James and Helen, by going out onto the north shore, are sailing a longer distance, so I think Peter's pretty much got it in the bag. So he'll come in third place. So they're just approaching the line now. This is Peter now, Peter and Angie now. Yep, and then James and Helen will come in fourth. That's it. David and Maggie just coming up to finish. Coming up to the line now. James and Helen making their way in. But that's good. That's David and Maggie finishing.